So we always hear about the shops and businesses that are struggling in the United States. And we even get guilt-tripped and gaslit to think that we're the problem. Cue the Janet Mills clip.
And so when people stop coming to Maine, particularly from Canada, from the maritime provinces, they're not hurting Donald Trump. They're not hurting the powers that be in Washington. They're hurting their friends here in Maine, whose businesses thrive and depend on Canadian traffic. And that is disappointing.
Well, sorry to disappoint you, but what about the businesses in Canada that are suffering because of your president's policies? Have you ever thought about the Canadian businesses that are suffering? Probably not, because all you ever do is think about yourself. Well, today, I'm going to think about the Canadian businesses, and I'll be talking to Evan Ginsberg from Tri-Art Manufacturing, whose family business, who's been around for 30 years, has been heavily affected by the Taco Tuesday policies. It's been a while since I talked about Canadian companies, and I think I got to start this up again. I've been inspired by Todd Maffin's snacking videos, where he's promoting snacks that are made in Canada. So I'm going to do my part as a Canadian content creator to see what I can do to support local businesses as well. Before I get started, this is a photo I took last summer, and it's taken from Kate's Park in North Vancouver. One thing I gotta say before we start, I really do regret not having more confidence in doing walk and talk videos when I was living in Vancouver. I guess I'll have to save the videos for my next trip back home, which should hopefully be for about 2 weeks in September. Alright, let's get started with my conversation with Evan from Tri-Art Manufacturing, and stick around to the end. He does provide us with an exclusive GTL discount code. Thank you very much, Evan, for joining me. And when I got your email, I really wanted to see what we can do to help you out. And I want to also thank you for following my channel. I'm very happy to see people from my channel reaching out. So I before we start, I guess maybe you can give the audience a little bit of an introduction. And maybe tell us a little bit about your company as well.
Yeah. So. Well, and thank you too for this opportunity to come and talk a little bit about us and what we've been experiencing as a sort of smaller manufacturer. We're in Kingston, Ontario, and we manufacture artist paints. So we make really high quality.
I didn't realize you're going to show here.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's good. There you go.
We make really high quality artist paint products. Just about for every purpose. Our main sort of specialty is our acrylic format product. So we do this really, really well. And something that's a bit unique about us is all the jars and the caps we're actually making in our facility as well. So we have a full injection and blow molding facility. So
you actually make everything from the jars to the caps, labels, and paint itself. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we print the labels, we make the jars, make the caps, we grind the pigment all here, and then we make our acrylic paints.
Wow, okay.
And so pretty much when you hold a Tri-Art product, it's from Canada. It's made here. We're one of the funny things when sort of the tariffs first sort of hit from the U.S. was we really looked at our impact. How much are we sourcing from the U.S. directly, and it was actually a fairly small. Well,
let's get into that a little bit, because I mean, obviously, when the tariffs came in and the import tax and all that kind of junk, it really affected a lot of companies, right? I mean, both sides of the border and even internationally as well, right? So, maybe you can give the audience a little bit of just a summary, like how did it hit you guys and how did it affect your business?
Yeah, so the very start of 2025 and sort of end of 2024, we had this really ambitious plan of we're going to finally tackle the U.S. market. And that's a bit of my naivety, I guess, in the politics that were surrounding that.
Well, hey, I mean, it would have been normal if there was a different president, right? So
and it's really what it was a reaction to, as well as that we as a paint company, this is a very small industry. Everyone knows each other, right. And we as a paint company, there's some much larger brands in the industry, and they do a very good job at basically keeping us out, if I could say a little bit. They sort of use their brand as leverage, and we were just sort of a bit sick of that, and we thought, hey, now's our opportunity. I think people are ready to try something new. They're a little bit tired of buying the same old products that they were getting. So we thought, let's really make a push to the US again and see how we can capture that market. So I was working with, I had a group of really lovely St. Lawrence College students, and they probably learned like a year's worth of material in the few months that I was working with them. Because we formulated a whole sort of marketing plan and what we were going to do. And essentially, the tariffs kicked in, and we basically said, all right, just scrap all of that. We're going to going to have to do something different because we don't know what the effect of this is going to be.
Right. So I mean, in a sense, it sounds like you were still in the planning stage to expand to the US. So you haven't actually expanded yet, but I guess in hindsight, I mean, it is good timing that you haven't spent all of that money to market to the US. And otherwise, once the tariffs went in and things like that, many businesses, I mean, I did an interview with a business in the past, and, his sales dropped pretty much overnight as well. Right. So, in hindsight, it's good that you kind of readjusted before that happened. But,
absolutely.
I am wondering though, I mean, do you have any sales to the United States right now, or is it pretty much all Canada that you're selling to right now?
So, and maybe I should expand a little bit on how our business is structured to really drive this point, because what we do as a manufacturer is, yes, we do make our own branded products, and we make, thousands of different sizes of products and hundreds of different formulas for the artist paint industry. But the art materials industry is actually sort of a much smaller portion of the business. A lot of what we do is we use our formulation expertise. What we do really well is these sort of acrylic water-based systems. No one else can quite do it like we do. So we use that expertise, and we manufacture for all sorts of other markets. So typically when we do really well, we find a marketer in an industry, and they're looking for a water-based type of product. So our direct exposure in terms of art materials to the US, because, the bigger brands had kind of kept us out of that marketplace, was relatively low for art materials. But our exposure to some of the other industries that we're manufacturing for, they had much, much higher exposure. So probably like more than 50% of their business. And, these are larger industries that we don't have any direct sort of control over. So, so I kind of have to talk about it in those two different worlds. What a little bit of a different aspect as well is we as a manufacturer, we tend to, if a wholesaler or retailer is ordering products from us, we tend to ship on skids, and we handle much less individual packages going over the border. So a lot of the skid shipments, and there was relative normalcy, but in the back of our minds, when the tariffs first hit, it was kind of like, what happens if we start losing some of the US business that we can't control?
Right.
And that's what did happen, essentially.
That relates to the de minimis change as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly the problem was for us, our exposure to the tariffs wasn't too bad, but it was the combination of the de minimis exemption being removed, plus the tariffs, as well as just the nature of our products too. We pretty well instantly noticed, because we did a few direct to consumer sales going into the States. Actually, it was about 50% of our direct to consumer sales was going into the US. We noticed basically instantly, as soon as the de minimis exemption was removed, our products were being flagged for all sorts of different tariffs, even though we would provide the CUSMA paperwork. Essentially, some of these larger shipping companies, they didn't have the infrastructure to be able to handle the volume of shipments that they suddenly had to clear.
Right.
So it was kind of communicated to us. They've been using some software to help with that. And all of our products were being flagged as paint in cans, even though they're paint in plastic jars. And they were applying essentially 200, 300% like Russian aluminum tariffs on it.
Wow.
Even though,
So even though you make it yourself, I mean, it's not cans. It's you know, they still label it as that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some of our customers in the US, they they placed, one of them in particular, they placed a $200 order and they received a $600 duties charge.
What?
And
That's ridiculous.
that was how extreme it was. So we said, like, look, I can't even remember what we did. I think we just refused the package and let it get destroyed. And that's the way it is. Other ones have just outright refused to pay the duties. We've received all sorts of charges. But more importantly, some of those other industries that we manufacture for, they're exclusively small packages versus skids of product. So quite literally for 3 months, they had 3 months of orders worth just going in circulation and not getting to the end customer. So for us, it meant 4 months of essentially not manufacturing and not having that income. So as soon as the de minimis exemption was removed, we just instantly saw a 30% decrease. So
right. So I guess that was a point where you realized you probably can't rely on the U.S. market anymore, right?
Yeah, that was the instant, like, oh, okay, this is, what are we going to do now? Kind of like, and then the next strategy was, okay, we obviously can't factor the U.S. market into our plan in any sort of way. So let's focus internationally and let's focus on Canada, and let's see what we could build that way. We went to a major sort of art materials trade show just this past February, and had a lot of interest, lots of keen accounts that were, identifying some of the same things that we were fatigued with general consumers, and just, some of the other brands, and frustrations too, even with the US and their politics. This was a big topic too. So.
The question I do have, I mean, obviously with not being able to sell to the United States anymore, who is a big market, when it comes to the artists themselves, I mean, not just your company, but the industry itself, I mean, is supplies and everything getting more expensive for artists, and is it becoming more expensive for, I guess, artists to get their supplies and, do their work?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And one of the biggest causes has been, this latest sort of war in Iran, where we're seeing raw materials. Some of our raw materials have gone up, more than double in price. And for me, this is a worry that, I mean, the arts are fundamental to who we are as people. It's a way that we get to engage, and sort of even like being creative is just, it's an internal sort of conversation that you're having, and you don't get to have that a whole lot, I guess. When we see these materials start to become less and less accessible, and more expensive, it's a real problem for the artists that are already struggling to, get by as it is. So it's
I'm curious. I mean, this is just from my own knowledge, but like, ever since the Strait of Hormuz has been closed, and obviously fuel prices are going up, what is like the major materials that you guys have that have spiked up in price?
Well, we are, this is acrylic paint, so it's all petroleum based, right? Just about every raw material we could think of for the past couple of weeks has gone up to some degree, and we're still trying to think about, do we just eat the difference again? And it's so it's been a bit challenging. We really need to do a sort of deep dive into how much these raw materials changes are affecting us. And so it's just another fun little challenge to navigate.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary challenge if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the rest of the world feels this way as well, but here we are, right? So,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like you mentioned, you went to trade shows, and like, do you guys have a physical store, or is it just manufacturing that you do?
So we do actually have a retail shop in downtown Kingston as well. And so we purchase and import different art supplies for that shop too. And we receive actually from a number of suppliers that, it's time to start thinking about, ordering more, because lots of manufacturers internationally are sort of scaling things down as they've been affected mainly by the war in Iran here. So
Do you have a lot of customers internationally? Is it mainly just Canada and formerly the US?
Yeah, so we actually have quite a strong presence in Europe, and that started in around 2023, I think, maybe 2022. And we started with a couple of distributors in the Nordic region of Europe. So they're based in Denmark. And they've been just, I don't know how they've been doing so well. So they've been really bringing our products into all sorts of new shops. And it's been really nice to see that. And it's so we've got a good presence in Europe, but Canada is really, coast to coast, our products are available. So
right. One thing, I mean, obviously with everything going on right now, and Canadians wanting to buy Canadians instead, or Canadian products instead, have you noticed a switch or a trend that your Canadian purchases are going up because people want to buy Canadian-made products?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was kind of really like I got almost a little bit emotional when we saw the support coming in. Would have been March of last year that it sort of really started. And it just felt really special. It felt like for a bit we're really being supported nicely. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm buying Canadian as often as I can and discovering all sorts of really interesting products that I never would have tried before. And we make really great stuff. Like we're sort of.
I mean, I've been looking on your website. I mean, it looks like really quality stuff, right? So I mean,
coast to coast.
I mean, I'm not an artist myself. I mean, I'm a left-brainer, so my artistic skills is as much as like drawing a stick man. So, but I mean, you can tell when the product is quality and when it's like just something that's just mass produced, right? And I spent some time on your website just kind of browsing around and taking a look at the products that you have, and it really just kind of it shows that, hey, you guys put a lot of time and care into your products, right? So I'm glad to hear that your fellow Canadians or our fellow Canadians are supporting local businesses. And one of the things I do want to ask is how I mean, I'll put up your website later. It's try-art.ca. One thing I did do before we started this interview is I did put a poll out to the GTL community just to see if there is any artists or art enthusiasts in the community. It looks like there's about 65% of the viewers did mention that they are into the arts and crafts and painting. So one thing I do want to ask is if my viewers do want to purchase from your website, what would you recommend, I guess? That's the first thing I want to ask, and then I have another question after.
Yeah, so I mean, we have all sorts of product. Like there's a lot of different things that we manufacture, and there's a lot of different colors, and it can be really sort of intimidating. So we have something for the professional artists, and with those products, so something like the high viscosity, Tri-Art high viscosity, or our low viscosity or even our liquid acrylics.
Here, let me. I'll change it back so you can show it.
Yeah.
On the screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Sorry about
have
that.
this is called like our low viscosity. It's kind of an inky sort of consistency. This would be
Mhm.
for a professional artist. We have our high viscosity acrylics as well. So this is
Yeah.
a sort of tube and jar format paint.
Mhm.
And then we have a range of acrylic mediums too. So for professional artists, you can get, if you're used to a heavy body acrylic, you'd probably want a high viscosity. If you're used to a fluid acrylic, you'd maybe want our liquid acrylic. But we also have lots of great products for beginner painters as well. So we have a product line called Riotech. And this is
Is that for
essentially,
beginners?
yeah, I mean, this is a pretty high performance paint. So I do
Okay.
have professional artists that use this sort of as their base painting. We put it through all the same quality control measures as our professional quality line. Uses all the same quality of pigments, same quality of pigment grind, but basically we're just putting less pigment in this product. So this is ideal for just painting right out of the tube. So if you're beginning into the acrylic space, that would be a really ideal product too. So yeah, we've got a bit.
Okay, and I also noticed on your website too that you do have. Oops, hang on, let me figure this out. Get rid of that one. There we go. So you do also have accessories as well that you sell that I guess relate to painting. So aside from what I have on the screen right now, is there any other products that you would like to mention?
Yeah. So we have been looking at importing more and more materials as we focus on our art supplies business. We want to work with other manufacturers that are making great little products from all sorts of different parts of the world, and just to see what we could get in, and so we could expand our sort of wholesale network. Our products are available as well at a lot of art supply shops too, coast to coast. So there's a lot of different ways you can find them.
One thing that you and I talked about offline or via email, you did mention something about switch map. Do you want to explain a little bit on that?
So right now at the on the website, there's a little menu at the top, and it's called Switch Map. So when you click on that, you can see what our products are closest to other products that you might be used to using. So if you're used to using a certain brand of artist paints, if you go to that Switch Map, you'd be able to see which of our products is sort of the closest equivalent to it. So one of the biggest sort of barriers of entry for artists is, I'd like to try it, but I don't know. I'm really used to my process, and I'll stick with my materials that way. So we're trying to give people that a bit of a tool to figure out which ones are the direct.
Let me put it on the screen right now. So this is the
perfect
matching. Okay.
Yeah. So in this example, there's I think our competitor calls it
like
clear.
500
There's
different
a ton of products.
I see it now. Yeah.
I think we have something like 30,000 SKUs in our system, if you could believe it. Well,
I mean, to be honest, this helps. I mean, if there are any artists out there that are currently using US products, they should be able to use this table to find out what the replacement would be. So
yeah, exactly. And it might work for you. We do definitely do things a little bit differently. So always test your methods first, see if the product works for you. And it should be a good tool though.
Okay, cool. Well, final thing I want to ask. I mean, I'm looking at the poll that I put out to the GTL community right now, and it looks like we got quite a few artists here. So, you and I discussed this offline that there would be a GTL discount code if anyone is interested. Do you want to maybe mention that a little bit, or talk about what the GTL community could get?
Absolutely. So I set up a code that'll run, I think, until the end of June. And it's just GTL 25. And it's an automatic discount. So
awesome.
You should be able to enter that, and there's no problem. You'll get a 25% discount to give our products a try. So
Oh, that's great. I really thank you for that. And you know what? I do hope a lot of the GTL community does come to support a Canadian company. I mean, one thing that you mentioned earlier that caught my attention is that you're actually making the jars as well, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like you're importing the jars from another country. You're actually creating it yourself. You're creating the tubing, everything. So, if the GTL community wants a product that is made in Canada, well, this is it right here. So,
Yeah, it's a little crazy how much me and my family are doing
yeah.
under this roof, and but it's a lot of fun. We have fun with it, and yeah, it's yeah,
So I'll,
we
I'll
like making things.
Yeah, sorry, you did mention, I'm looking right now on my other
Yeah,
monitor, but you did mention that you have a store in downtown Kingston, is it?
yeah, yeah. So we have an art supply. It's kind of a dual art supply and hardware shop. So
Okay,
yeah, downtown Kingston. It's called Art Noise, and
Art Noise. Okay,
yeah, we found downtown Kingston was kind of losing its. We didn't have a downtown hardware store, so
got it.
yeah,
Okay, I'll splash
we're
it on the
open
screen
that
after
too.
I do the edit. That way, I'll put the
Yeah.
address in the shop, and that way people can find you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So, yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else you wanted to mention to the community? Or
Uh, just a big thank you to people for staying informed and making decisions to support Canadian companies, and it really does make a huge difference. And I it would be a lot more difficult if we didn't have the feeling that the community is there for us. So
Well, I mean, when you reached out to me and you asked me whether or not I would do a sponsorship deal with you, I didn't it didn't feel right for me to take money from Canadian business that's been hit by the Taco Tuesday tariffs and stuff. So,
yeah,
I really want to thank you for that. Also to the GTL community, just a clarification. With that GTL, is it GTL 25?
yep,
As the GTL 25 promo code. Just letting everybody know I do not get anything from it. So, I just want to make sure I help another Canadian company and, make sure that Evan, gets his story out as well. So I don't have a affiliate commission or anything like that. So I'm just here to help out Evan and his company. So,
yeah,
but yeah, Evan, I think this has been a great call, and I do hope that the GTL community can help you out. And if I do get any inquiries, I guess from other viewers asking, I
yeah,
can always just refer them to you, or I'll just give them your email address and they can reach out to you
yeah.
directly.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I look forward. I look forward to everything, and I can't thank you enough too for giving
of
me this
course. Yeah, I
opportunity
mean,
to
like I
talk.
said, I'm more than happy to help. I mean, I
Yeah,
totally. I'm totally fine with helping a Canadian company, and
yeah,
if we should do this again. To be honest, I mean, I know you mentioned before that you're looking at new products and things like that, and I'll be more than happy
yeah,
to have you back on my channel. So,
yeah. No, thank you.
all right, well, thank you very much, Evan, and to the GTL community. I'll make sure that the coupon code or the discount code is in the description, but just to repeat it again, it's GTL25. And that will get you 25% discounts on all the products that Evan sells. All right. Well, thank you very much, Evan, and stay on the line. We'll chat a little bit more.
All right, perfect. Yeah. No,
All
and
right.
thank you.
Yep.
All right.